and welcome to my 23rd episode in this Christmas calendar series of 2023. This has been a hard one to make, and Tommy at Arctic Reto teased me some days ago and said that what's happening on the 24th of December, is it going to be a working computer? And I was thinking, nah, that's too much work, and I'm still thinking that. But we have introduced a lot of the concepts needed for this, and maybe a natural step is to look at least on the principal sketch for a 6502 computer. And I was thinking about this, and as I don't do scripts, and thinking, what the heck, that's what I will do today, and I might also do some more of this tomorrow and maybe come up with a design that's actually possible to make out on a breadboard or two for a working computer. So that might be interesting to do, but this might not go beyond this stage, and I might not finish writing up the ROM code that is needed to get this to work. And here we will see some serious cheating in the design. Yes, it was never my intention, but as we are approaching the end of this series, we have the December episode 23. And we talked about address decoding last, and we are actually going to do some CPU charting here. And we are now leaving somewhat what we have discussed up until now, because I'm going to draw out a sketch here, and this does not contain any glue logic at all. It's just a simple sketch for an ID of 6502 microprocessor system. And of course, this is not meant to be a fully working system. I might refine this and come back and do some more on this tomorrow, but this is actually what I am going to draw to you. This is a 6502 CPU. It's fed by a 1 MHz oscillator, and that is a ready-made oscillator can. This chip can also be driven by an RC circuit with the internal oscillator, or you can run it by an external crystal and some logic chips. But the 1 MHz oscillator can already gives you a perfectly good TTL level square wave that can be used to run this. And I'm going to do it the simple and fast way. I'm going to use a 27512K EEPROM as decoder, and I'm going to suggest 6264 static RAM as memory, and we can similarly use 2764 EEPROM for ROM. And this more or less actually describe a running system if you are not going to interact with the world around you. And this will of course be implemented like such. I will take we can just do it like this today. This is address bus, like so. And this is going to contain A0 to A16. With this EEPROM we can do a complete, with no holes, memory decoding, as we use all address lines, and it can give out 8 chip selects like so. And we can use this one for chip enable on this one, and we can use, just for the sake of this, use this for chip enable or output enable. I have to look into the datasheets for this. It's probably chip enable, and you have a read write on this. We have to look this up. I have not looked into a single datasheet. I'm only sketching this up now as we go. And we of course need the data bus, and we don't need that into this one, but we need it into this, and we need it into this. And this is 8-bit data bus. And this will go both ways, and this will of course only be be that way because this is an EEPROM that you are only going to feed into the bus. And this is of course D0 to D7, and this is A0 to A15. And you have a reset line. The simplest way to do a reset on a C64, on a 6502, is actually just to tie it like so, and you use the RC to determine when this will go high. This will force this low at startup, and when the, sorry, my mistake, it will be like so, of course. C reset and R reset. And when the power up, this will charge this, so it will be pushed low in the beginning, and after this charges up it will go high and the ship will start. And you of course have the NME, and you have the IRQ. You also have the RDI that makes single stepping possible, and you have the sync, and of course you have the read write, and it's read and write with, and this goes into this ship here. So read write is going to be tied to the memory somewhere. I think it's chip enable and output enable, both of them has to be tied like so. And of course on this one that is doing ship decoding, chip enable and output enable should be done like so. And this represents a somewhat working system, but what is required for a 6502 to actually start? And it's memory mapped reset vectors on this, and you do have some system requirements. The first thing is the 0 page. That is hex 0000 200FF, and that needs to be memory. That means to be RAM memory, I mean. You have the stack, and that is from 0100 to 01FF, like so. And you also have the, and this is RAM, I was thinking. And if you take the ROM up here, this will be 8K by 8 bits, and this will also be 8K by 8 bits on top here. That means that you actually have 6 more 8K positions here that we can decode with this ship select. So this will be CS0 and this will be CS1. And then we can have the other ship select the other address spaces between. But this is the important things with the 6205. I need both these to actually have a working system, because on top of this you have the vectors, and that is the, the enemy is the lowest, of course, and it's the FFFA to FFFB, and this is stored as 2 bytes, and it's low and high byte of the address. And that means when this gets an NMI, it looks into these vectors here and jump to this address that lies in these and starts the execution from there. And the same with the reset vector. The reset is from FFFC to FFFD. And we also have the IRQ, and that is from FFFE and FFFF, like this. And all these are hexadecimals. And of course it's the low and high byte on all of these. And that means when the first startup occurs and this capacitor has reached a high on this, so it's not reset anymore, then the address that is contained with this ROM address will be the starting address for the execution. So this has to be, if our program starts someplace within this ROM, it has to be there where it jumps. So that is actually the basics of a 6502 microprocessor system, and we can of course expand this somehow, and I will do some thinking. I might continue on this tomorrow, but it won't be possible to build this in the time frame until Christmas. And the reason for that is that this needs to be programmed and this needs to be programmed, And we also need to have some I/O here, because I can just lie to you and say that everything is running as it should, and none will be the wiser, because if this execute code, we have to have something to show for that. We can have a LED that is blinking, or we can have some output on the 7-segment display and stuff, but that needs to be implemented here as a I/O device. And this contains no I/O, but this will give you a running 6502 system. Yeah, we have already mapped out some of the things we need to do to make this a working computer. And I see some errors here, by the way. This is a nice 6502 picture from the Wikipedia page, but I do see some faults here. I will try to draw here. This reset is active low, and this read-write signal is so. Otherwise, they might be correct. Yeah, I can't see now other faults. And what we need to connect the clock in. That is an important. The read-write signal is the control signal from the CPU if it's going to read or write the data bus. The data lines, of course, this is the data bus, and you have the address lines down here, and these here, that is the address bus, of course. And you do, of course, have the power supply, and you have, of course, the plus 5 volt, like so. The reset, we was going to connect to this and a capacitor to ground, and this we don't need. The read-write, of course, needs to control the chips. So I did wrong again. This should actually be ground. Sorry. This is the VCC. I wonder how many times I'm going to do this mistake. The NMI, we just can keep it high. The IRQ, we just can keep high. So this we can just connect like so to get things running. The RDI, it might be best to keep this low. Yeah, the sync we probably don't need, and I think this will make the processor run. And we do have this crystal that is going to run instead of using some internal oscillators on this. And this is very simple. It's just ground and the VCC, and this is the output that is fed to the V0 clock on the CPU. And this will work just fine. It's a symmetrical signal, 1 MHz, and TTL 5 volt level. All these are discontinued in this steel can, I think, but you still get them as surface mounted components, and there are a load of these on eBay and Amazon and AliExpress and such. We do have the chip decoding, and this is the decoder. And that is EEPROM that covers the whole address space of the 6502 CPU. And I'm just going to use this as address space. And this output enable and chip enable, they can just be tied low, because this chip will always be giving output when things are working. And of course, this will be the address bus, and this will be the chip select 0 to 7. And this will be the EEPROM, and this will be mapped at the end of the memory space. So here, every address line will be connected from A0 to A12 I mean, and then this enable here, and maybe it's so that these two, like so, will be to the CS0. Like so. And of course the outputs here is going to be connected to the data bus, like so. And this RAM is almost the same, but you have to have the write enable signal. Has to be this write enable inverted signal. It was like so. So that has to be a high output disable. High is read and low is write. And you have the chip select and output enable, and also this has to be probably connected. I have to see output disabled, high set, and chip select. So these two output enable, and this will be tied to ground, and this will be chip select 1, and of course this is data bus together with these ones, and this will be address bus, all this address bus, and address bus. And that's really it for chips. that we have included here, and this will make a 6502 up and running. Yes, you're still there. I haven't been able to bore you to death with this conceptual design of a 6502 computer. I do think I will continue on this path tomorrow, maybe with some side tracks, but I think this actually will be doable. I think this concept of this computer will be feasible. I might have to do something about the timings for the clocks, as there is some strange timings on the 6502 for the read-write buses and the address bus. I might have to latch that somehow, because I've seen some designs where it actually seems like it's not stable in the low position when you are doing write cycles. But if I'm going to use static memory and maybe a fast EEPROM, it doesn't matter that much, because the data will be ready available on the bus very soon. But this is just a concept. We have not tested with any chips yet, and it might be interesting, but not today and not tomorrow. This is maybe 2 complete full days of work in the lab to set this up and make this work. I might get it to work sooner than that, but writing the code and setting up the vectors and making this work on the EEPROM, it's years and years since I last did any serious 6502 programming, so you have to give me some leeway here. This will take some time if I'm going to get this ready. And frankly, if this series had taken off and I had maybe 1,000 views on this, I might have bothered. But we have to see. So, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again tomorrow, and tomorrow will be the last ordinary episode in this series. And in Norway, as we celebrate the Christmas on the 24th, this will also be the Christmas holidays for me. So, thanks for watching.